Today we're tasting our 1-year-old Hendricks Gin Kilju.
First, clarity and color. Wow, that's nice and clear.
Lovely.
Very nice and clear.
It's got a softer color to it, almost peachy-like.
Yeah,
it's still the
it's kinda,
amber, but it's kind of a soft
little orangey.
amber, almost peachy.
Yeah.
So this came out to 14.6.
Yep, we didn't mark the final gravity
We did
because this was
not.
before we were doing that.
The aroma is lovely.
I smell
Rose and juniper, but there's rose. I smell the rose. Okay, so you guys know.
Yeah, there's rose.
This is totally my beverage. This is not Brian's wheelhouse whatsoever.
-5. Just joking. I'm going to do my best to be unbiased and appreciate it for what it is. It does actually smell really nice. It's got a good heady aroma. It's a strong aroma without being overpowering. The honey is coming through. This is not honey.
There is no honey in this.
Why am I smelling honey then?
I don't know. I think you're attributing the botanicals to honey because floral to you in fermenting equals honey because you don't like floral beverages.
But I'm not wrong, right? There is like a honey-like...
I think it's the botanical notes that are making you think honey.
All right, this has no honey, though I smell honey.
And if I remember correctly, I think you made that mistake last time when we were tasting this.
It's possible.
That was right after making it, but it's okay.
Well, is it a mistake if I actually smell it?
It is not, because you smell and taste all sorts of things in alcoholic beverages that actually aren't there.
Yep,
but
there's no flowers in this.
It's the neat thing. There is flowers. We added rose to this.
Oh, we did. This is why we don't read the ingredients beforehand. I like to be just as surprised as everybody else.
Okay, so this is my recipe, so that's why I am more cognitive of what was actually in this.
I just have to be honest. I don't like Hendricks gin.
He doesn't like gin. Forget
gin
Hendricks. He doesn't like gin.
So, yeah.
All right, let's taste this.
Okay.
See, I'm making the, and Brian's making the, Did we make a Hendricks gin? No, of course we didn't. This isn't distilled.
It tastes about as bad.
It's not gin.
I'm joking. It doesn't actually taste horrible. It's just not my thing.
It does have the juniper and the rose.
It definitely has juniper.
The cucumber
got lost a little.
Pretty much gone.
I don't know. There's some sort of a, I don't know. I'll tell you in a second. Yeah, there's no cucumber in there.
It almost tastes like we put lavender in it, though.
Yep.
I'm getting kind of that soapy sensation.
I'm getting licorice, too.
Which I normally don't get.
I'm getting licorice.
Even from lavender.
Like fennel.
So that's a little unusual. That being said, I think this would make a lovely mixer.
So it's soapy licorice with pine accent and
You're selling
rose
it.
tops.
You're selling it, babe. You're selling it.
Yep.
I think
I'm trying, I'm giving it everything I can.
I know this is probably going to sound weird, but for those of you who distill, you probably are going to understand it and maybe completely disagree with me. I don't know, but I feel like if we could distill this, that we would get a better product.
You know why it would be better? Because you could just do a shot of it, not have to. Sorry.
There is some elements to here. It kind of has a little bit of the bitterness.
Yeah.
Which to me in this particular recipe would make me think over extraction.
Okay, here's my take on this. As it enters, I definitely get an astringency from the juniper, which pine does that, okay? They are a type of pine. I definitely taste a sweet tart thing going on, okay? The astringency is balanced by some sweetness. It might be just a little bit more dry than maybe it should be, but gin is not sweet. So we were trying for a gin-like experience. If this was a little sweeter, I think it would be more approachable for me. The floral notes, I'm not distinctly getting rose, but I'm getting floral notes of some kind. That makes me think honey. It's got a great viscosity to it, good mouthfeel, good tannic quality, nice acidity. It's actually very well balanced for what it is. It's just flavors that I don't like.
I'm getting rose on the nose and I'm getting lavender on the palate. And so that is disappointing to me, and it's a little discordant because your brain is being
I'm not getting rose. There is something. It's a familiar smell that I can't place. It's not lavender. Maybe it is actually. It's soap. It smells like soap.
Well, see, now I'm not getting the aromas anymore.
I smell soap, like a really flowery soap.
The pollen is high right now, so my nose is just all sorts of out of whack. But when I first smelt it, I smelled rose. I smelled the rose before I smelled the juniper. I don't know. But what I want to do, now that Brian has nearly injured himself drinking this, let's go ahead.
I got goosebumps again.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put a number on this.
Okay. I'm going to give 2 numbers. One is my actual experience. The other one is as an unbiased brewer. In other words, like if I was judging this in a competition or something, because this isn't my wheelhouse. If it was just up to me, this is a 2. It's a 2. I would not drink this. I would never want to put this in anything. I would never want to touch this ever again. That's not to say that some of you won't love this. Derica is actually really enjoying it. This is just an example of totally not my thing. I don't like juniper. It's up there with grapefruit. But that's my unbiased, or that is my biased opinion. That is my experience of this beverage. Okay. But the number I'm going to give is an actual score based on how well it was brewed, how the complexity came out, how it works with the Triforce of flavors, all that kind of stuff. That's what I'm going to judge it on.
And my number is going to be a combination of both of Brian's.
And that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to be very clear that I'm of 2 minds with this. One is the guy that doesn't like it, and the other one is the brewer that can appreciate it for what it is.
Okay.
You ready? Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3,
5.
7.
See, Brian was thinking I was really enjoying this. I'm not really enjoying this.
I thought you're enjoying it more than I am.
I'm enjoying it more than obviously a 2, but there's something missing, and
it's sweetness. It could use a little more.
But I'm still getting sweetness. And so what I wanted to do now that we have given our impressions on this unadulterated is that I now have an empty vessel.
Oh boy. She's going to add Cointreau.
Did we get more? We have more Hendricks, okay.
Oh, I thought she was going to add Cointreau.
I'm not going to add Cointreau. No, I'm going to compare it to the original. And I'm kind of bummed about this because I was really hoping to get something more in the vein of Hendricks. Brian's probably not going to like either one of them.
They don't smell anything alike. There's a lot more juniper in the Hendricks gin. It's much more botanical. I'm going to let you do this part. I won't be able to give an unbiased opinion anymore. My palate is ruined. What are you pushing it to me for? Do you really want me to taste that?
No.
I mean, I will.
No.
They get to see a whole new thing.
Brian's head just goes. Okay, so experiencing the Hendricks gin by itself, I think the inherent problem here of trying to replicate a distilled beverage in a non-distilled format is that you're just not going to get there.
Yeah, the alcohol, the ethanol is just not.
Just not going to get there. And it's not because you're trying to replicate a high ABV, because obviously that's not going to happen. It's that the sensations you get from a higher ABV beverage changes the experience altogether. And it's not just
well, you have to look at
alcohol.
A distilled beverage kind of as an... I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
have to look at a distilled beverage kind of as an extract. It's ethanol with essences and flavors in there.
Right.
Whereas a fermented beverage is all of those things with a little bit of ethanol. So they're kind of opposites.
So the Hendricks gin, the sensation I get from it is that there's this really lovely creaminess, which kind of battles the sharp pungency of the higher alcohol. And then the botanicals are kind of just a nice little dash of flavoring on top of that. Now, this is coming from a person who actually enjoys drinking vodka straight. So Brian laughs at me because he's like, good vodka doesn't taste like anything. But to me, a good vodka has a crisp, clean sensation, which is probably the absence of tasting like something that I actually find enjoyable.
Meanwhile, I'll drink 130 proof whiskey and not flinch.
Right. So the gin is like that crisp cleanness with something added back in. That's how I experience gin. Where this...
It's kind of smothered. Like everything's kind of... It feels mushed together. Mm-hmm. It's not that it didn't mellow or meld. It just doesn't feel right. Something about... That's why I gave it a 7, not a 10. It's a well-made brew. I just think, like you said, there's something missing. It needs something else.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that is off the top of my head. It's so hard. Just like if you're a cook and you're trying to make a dish that you absolutely do not like the ingredients, but you're trying to make it for someone else.
It's not going to work.
It's so hard to do it well because you don't like the flavors. So knowing if it's good or not is kind of a, is it good? I don't know. I don't like these things. So that's where we're at with this.
So the biggest reason why I wanted to compare these two was to find out what was in this that was detracting from my point. And I really think it's that bitter note. And I really wish Brian could appreciate this, but he can't. So I'm not going to force it on him because I am kind of benevolent. But when I drank these side by side, I started to notice their similarities rather than their differences.
All right,
and the biggest difference I'm getting from our Kilju version is that strong bitterness is just really detracting. I know it's painful. But do you see how it's kind of...
It opens up.
It's kind of...
You get the alcohol burn at first.
But there's a creaminess to it
Kind of, yeah, that's the ethanol. And then the botanicals start to come in.
Yeah.
It's funny, the juniper is actually more harsh in the Kilju than it is in the gin.
Yeah.
Even though the smell is way juniper.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I almost like the gin better.
And now when you drink this, you're going to find the similarities, but then that bitter note is just like...
Yeah. Yeah, the juniper over-extracted.
Yeah.
Yep, too much juniper. Yep, that is, I think that is the big problem, because had that not over-extracted, it wouldn't need to be sweeter to overcome the bitter astringency. But you know what you have to do now?
Mix them together?
Yeah.
Well,
You have to. It's a rule. Did she make a face when I did that?
I did.
There you go. I'm not drinking it.
It's like sacrilege. And I feel really bad because I actually gave a bottle of this as a gift to some good friends of ours. I mean, a really fancy label and everything. And now that I'm tasting it after 1 year, I'm thinking... I don't know. Maybe they liked bitter things.
Okay, it's not horrible. That's the thing.
Just
That's
the
why I gave it a
bitterness is getting
7.
in the way. Now, see, on the aroma, mixing the two, this is lovely now, again.
It's probably an improvement because it'll add a little bit of the sweetness back to the gin. But you should still have, it's mostly gin. I mean, it was 2/3 gin, 1/3 Kilju. All right, I'll try it too. See what I do for you people?
You're not going to like it still.
No, I know I'm not.
Why are you drinking it? But it did take the bitterness out, like, nearly completely.
Yep. Yep. Now it just tastes like gin. Tastes like worse gin.
So I think the lesson that I've learned here is that, yes, you can over-extract botanicals, and just like an over-extracted tea, it's going to create that bitterness that's unpleasant. And even aging really isn't going to take care of that. And also, perhaps trying to replicate a distilled beverage in a non-distilled format is not the best choice.
So all we have to do is take off the Hendricks gin and just call this Juniper Kilju, and then you're done.
Juniper Rose Kilju.
See? And then it's good. So, I don't know. If you like gin and you like juniper, you might actually really appreciate this. Like I say, my 2 was my personal bias. My 7 was based off of how rounded of a beverage is this, how balanced of it. And it's actually not bad. It's reasonably good, you know?
I think I'm being overly critical because of my love of Hendricks
You
gin.
expected this to be gin. I'm treating this as its own thing. That's the difference. If you treat this as, I'm comparing this to gin, yeah, you're not going to appreciate it as much. But I did it as, it's a beverage. How is it? Completeness. And that's where I come up with a 7. And that's the thing, you know, everybody's tastes are a little bit different. Everybody's going to see things just a little bit different, and it's okay. This is why we go through all these tasting notes, to really give you an in-depth look at what it is, what it could be, what it was supposed to be, what it should have been, all those things. But you know what? As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.